Hello everyone, I am Dr. Preeti Khulbe and in today's lecture we are going to discuss about quality management system, the ISO 9000 family of standards. We have already discussed about the some videos related to quality management system. This is the fifth video of this series. So you can watch the previous videos also if you want that. So learning objective, if we see, learning objective include know about the quality management, understand the concept of quality by design, as well as all about the Six Sigma concept we should understand. Similarly, the learning outcome on successful completion of unit, the students will be able to know about the concept and use of GLP, role of ISO 14000 NABL, the concept out of specification as well as OS as well as change control and understanding about ISO 9000 series. ISO 9001 is related to the product realization. Planning of product realization include the organization that developed the processes needed for the product realization. The organization shall determine quality objective and requirements for the product. The need to establish the processes and documents and to provide the resources specific to the product. It required the verification, validation, monitoring and measurement, inspection as well as test activities specific to the product and the criteria for the product acceptance. It also records the needed to provide the evidence that realization processes and resulting product meet requirements. The output of the planning shall be in a form suitable for the organization's method of operation. Planning of product realization shall be consistent with the requirements of the other processes of the QMS. Okay, so all these things are related to QMS. Now, a determination of requirements related to the products are important. So, the organization shall determine the requirements specified by the customer. It includes the requirements for the delivery and post-delivery activities. Requirements also includes not stated by the customer but necessary for the specified or intended use where known. Statutory and regulatory requirements applicable to the product, any additional requirements considering the necessary by the organization. It the this post delivery action is related to the action undertaken, warranty provisions, contractual obligations such as maintenance services and supplementary services such as recycling or final disposal. These are some things which are related to the organization's requirement. Now the determination of requirements related to the product. So prior to the organization commitment to supply a product to the customer, the organization shall review the requirements related to the product. The review shall ensure that the product requirements are defined, the contract or other requirements differing from those previously expressed are resolved. The organization has the ability to meet the five defined requirements. Records of the requirement results of the review and the actions arising from the review shall be maintained. It is worth nothing that where the customer provides no documented statement of requirements, the customer requirements shall be confirmed by the organizations before acceptance. Where product requirements are changed, the organization shall ensure that relevant documents are embedded and that relevant personnel are made aware of aware of the changes requirements. So these are some determinants which are required to the product. So basically we can say that the organization shall ability to meet the defined requirements. This is the main thing. Now the customer communication. So as we discussed that communication is one of the important factor related to this QMS. So the customer communication include the organization shall determine and implement the effective arrangements for communicating with the customer in relation to the product information, the inquiries, contracts, and or the order handling, including amendments, customer feedback, and including the customer complaints. Now, design and development planning. So, the organization shall plan and control the design and product and development of the product. During this activity, the organization shall determine the design and development stages, the review, verification, and validation that are appropriate to the each design and development stage. The responsibility and authority for designing and development. The organization shall manage the interface between the different groups involved in design and development to ensure effective communication and clear assignment of responsibility. Planning output shall be updated as appropriate as the design and development progresses. Now, design and development inputs relating to the product requirements shall be determined and records maintained. These inputs shall include the functional and performance requirements, applicable statutory and regulatory requirements, where applicable information derived from the previous similar designs, other requirements essential for the for designing and development. The inputs shall be reviewed for the adequacy. Requirements shall be complete, unambiguous, and not in conflict with each other. Now, design and development outputs. The outputs of design and development shall be in a form suitable for verification against the design and development inputs and shall be approved prior to the release. They shall meet the input requirements for design and development and also provides the appropriate information for purchasing, production, and service provisions. It also contains and reference product acceptance criteria, which is there in the design and development output, specify the characteristics of the product that are essential for its safe and proper use. Design and development review at suitable stages. The systematic review of design and development shall be performed in accordance with the planned manner. So it should be performed in a proper manner and to evaluate the ability of the results of design and development to meet the requirements, to identify any problems and propose necessary actions. And participants in such reviews shall include the representative of functions concerned with the design and development stage being reviewed. It records of the results of the review and any necessary actions shall be maintained. Now the design and development verification and validation. Okay, so if we talk about the design and this verification, so it includes in accordance with the planned arrangements, the verification shall be performed to ensure that the design and the development inputs have met the design and development inputs requirement. Okay, so input is related to the input. Now, similar validation shall perform to ensure that the resulting product is capable of meeting the requirements for the specified application or intended. It also records of the results of verification and validation, and any necessary action shall be maintained. whether if we said when we said the specified application or intended, so it is related to the whether practicable or the validation shall be completed prior to the delivery and implementation of the product. Now, control of design and development changes. So it includes the design and development changes shall be identified and records maintained. The changes shall be reviewed, verified, and validated as appropriate and approved before implementation. The review of design and development changes shall include the evaluation of the effect of the changes on constituent parts and product already delivered. Records of the results of the review of changes and any necessary actions shall be maintained. So next thing, so in today's video, we are going to discuss about the purchasing process. So purchasing process, the organization shall ensure that the purchased product conforms to a specified purchase requirement. Okay, so what is this? The type and extent of control applied to the supplier and the purchased product shall be dependent on the effect of the purchased product on subsequent product realization or the final product. The organization shall evaluate and select the suppliers based on their ability to supply product in accordance with the organization's requirements. The criteria for selection, evaluation and re-evaluation shall be established. Records of the results of evaluation and any necessary actions arising from the evaluation shall be well maintained. Now, next is the purchasing information. So, purchasing information shall describe the product to be purchased, including where it is appropriate. So, requirements of for the approval of products, processes, and equipments are included in the purchasing information. Other than that, the purchasing information also includes the requirements of for the qualification of personal quality management system requirements. The organization shall ensure the adequacy of specified purchase requirements prior to their communication to the supplier. Verification of purchased product. So verification of purchased product include the organization shall establish and implement the inspection or other activities necessary for ensuring that purchased product meets the specified purchase requirements, where the organization or its customer intends to perform verification at the supplier's premises. The organization shall state the intended verification arrangements and method of product release in the purchasing information. Control of production and service provisions. So the organization shall plan and carry out the production and service provisions under controlled conditions, which shall include as applicable the availability of information that describe the characteristics of the product, the availability of work instructions as necessary, the use of suitable equipments as necessary, the availability and use of monitoring and measuring equipments. The implementations of monitoring and measurements are the important part of control of production and service provisions. The implementation of a product release, delivery, and post delivery activities are also included in that. Now, again the validation of process and validation of process for the production and service provisions. So the organization shall validate any process for the production and service provisions where the resulting outputs can't be verified by the subsequent monitoring as well as measurement. The validation shall demonstrate the ability of these processes to achieve the planned results. The organization shall establish the the arrangements for these processes. It includes and including as applicable. It also defined the criteria for review and approval of the processes, approval of equipment and qualification of personnel, the use of specific method and procedures, requirement for the records as well as revalidation are some important other parameters. Now next is identification and traceability. So this identification and traceability in QMS involve where appropriate, the organization shall identify the product by suitable means throughout product realization. The organization shall identify the product status with respect to monitoring and measurement requirements throughout the product realization. Where traceability is a requirement, the organization shall control the unique identification of the product and maintain the records. Customer property. So, customer property includes the organizations shall exercise care and customer properties. Now, what is this customer property? So, customer property can include all the intellectual property and personal data. While it is under the organization control of being used by the organization, the organization shall identify, verify, and protect and safeguard the customer property provided for use are inappropriate into the product. If any customer property is lost, damaged or otherwise found to be unsuitable for use, the organization shall report this to the customer and maintain the record. And customer property, I have already explained that this customer property should, organization should identify, verify, and protect and safeguard this customer property. And customer property includes the intellectual property and personal data. Now, the preservation of products. So, the organization shall preserve the product during internal processing and delivery to the intended destination in order to maintain the conformity to the requirements. As applicable, preservation shall include the identification, the handling, packaging, storage, as well as the protection. The preservation shall also apply to the constituent part of a product. Control of monitoring and measuring equipments. The organization shall determine the monitoring and measurement to be undertaken and the monitoring and measuring equipment needed to provide the evidence of conformity of the product to determine the requirements. The organization shall establish the processes to ensure that monitoring and measurements can be carried out and are carried out in a manner that is consistent with the monitoring as well as measurement requirements. Control of monitoring and measuring equipment. So, where necessary to ensure valid results, measuring equipment shall be calibrated or verified or both at specified intervals or prior to use against the measurement standards traceable to internal or national measurement standards. Where no such standards exist, the basis used for the calibration of verification shall be recorded, be adjusted or readjusted as necessary. Okay, so this is very important when you are controlling any measuring equipment. So be adjusted or readjustment is important or as necessary. have identification in order to determine its calibration status, be safeguarded from the adjustments that would invalidate the measurement result, be protected from damage and deterioration during handling, maintenance as well as storage. Now, control of monitoring and measuring equipment. In addition to the organization shall access and record the validity of the previous measuring results when the equipment is found not to conform to the requirements. The organization shall take appropriate action on the equipment and any product affected. Records of the result of calibration and validation shall be maintained. When used in the monitoring and measurement of specific requirements, the ability of computer software to satisfy the intended application shall be confirmed. This shall be undertaken prior to the initial use and reconfirmed as necessary. Now, objective question related to this part includes general requirement of QMS is not included. No need to determine the processes for the quality management system. Determine the sequence and interaction. Ensure the availability of resources. Implement actions necessary to achieve the planned results. So answer A is correct. That is, general requirement of QMS is not included. No need to determine the processes for the quality management system. General requirements on auditing is provided by ISO is 2005, 2008, 11 as well as 1. So the answer is 2008, that is B. So general requirements on auditing is provided by ISO 2008. Document requirement of quality management system include documented statements of quality policy and quality objective. First party audits are conducted by or on behalf of the organization itself. Documented procedure and records required by this international standards are all mentioned. So documents requirements of quality management system includes the all mentioned, that is D, that is it covers the documented statement of the quality policy and quality objectives. The first party audits are conducted by or on the behalf of the organization itself. Documented procedures and records that are required by this international standards, all of them. Now, quality manual includes the scope of quality management system, the documented procedure established for the quality management system, a description of the interaction between the processes of the quality management system, all mentioned. Answer A is correct. That is, all mentioned is the right answer related to quality management. That is, we can say that the quality management includes the scope of quality management system, the documented procedures established for the quality management system, a description of the interaction between the processes of the quality management system. ISO 9001-2008 quality management system not included. The not includes control of documents, document requirement, journal requirement or effectiveness record. So answer D is correct. That is, ISO 9001-2008 quality management system not includes the effectiveness of records. Next is measurement, analysis and improvement as per ISO 9001. Measurement, analysis and improvement as per ISO 9001 includes the organization shall plan and implement the monitoring, measurement, analysis and improvement process needed. So to demonstrate the conformity to the product requirements, to ensure the conformity of the quality management system, to continually improve the effectiveness of the quality management system. This shall include the determination of applicable methods, including the statistical technique and the extent of their use. Monitoring and measurements customer satisfaction. So as one of the measurement of the performance of the quality management system, the organizations shall monitor the information relating to the customer perception as to whether the organization has met customer requirement, or this method for obtaining and using this information shall be determined. Monitoring and measurement internal audits. So the organization shall conduct internal audits of planned intervals to determine whether the QMS conforms to the planned arrangements to the requirements of this international standards and to the quality management system requirements established by the organization, as effectively implemented and maintained. So QMS, always when we talk about the QMS, it should be effectively implemented and maintained. An audit program shall be planned taking into consideration the status and importance of the processes and areas to be audited, as well as the results to previous audits, the selection of auditors and the conduct of audits shall ensure objectivity and impartiality of the audit process. Next is monitoring and measurement internal audits continue. So a documented procedure shall be established to define the responsibility and requirement of for the planning and conducting audits, establishing records and reporting results. Records of the audits and their results shall be maintained. The measurements, the management responsible for the area being audited shall ensure that any necessary corrections and corrective actions are taken without undue delay to eliminate the detected non-conformities and their causes. Follow-up activities shall include the verification of the actions taken and the reporting of verification action results. Monitoring and measurements of processes. The organization shall apply the suitable methods of the suitable methods suitable suitable methods for monitoring and, where applicable, measurement of the quality management system processes. These methods shall demonstrate the ability and the of the processes to achieve the planned results. When planned results are not achieved, corrections and corrective measures shall be taken as appropriate. When determining suitable methods, it is advisable that the organization consider the type and extent of monitoring and measurement appropriate to each of its processes in relation to their impact on the conformity to product requirements and on the effectiveness of the quality management system. Monitoring and measurement of products. So when we talk about the monitoring of products, so it is related to the organization. Okay, so the organization shall monitor and measure the characteristics of the product to verify that the product requirements have been met. This shall be carried out at appropriate stages of the product realization process in accordance with the planned arrangements. Evidence of conformity with the acceptance criteria shall be maintained. Records shall indicate the person's authorization, releases of product for the delivery of the customers. The release of product and delivery of services to the customer shall not proceed until the planned arrangements have been satisfactorily completed. Unless otherwise approved by the relevant authority, and where applicable by the customer. Now, non-conformity product. So, the organization shall ensure that the product which does not conform to product requirements is identified and controlled to prevent its unintended use or delivery. A documented procedure shall be established to define the controls and related responsibilities and authorities for dealing with non-conformity products. Dealing with non-conformity products, so where applicable, the organization shall deal with non-conformity product by one or more of the following ways: by taking action to eliminate the detected non-conformity, by authorizing its use, release, or acceptance under concession by a relevant authority, and where applicable by the customer, by taking action to preclude into its original intended use or applications, by taking action appropriate to the effects or potential effects of the non-conformity when non-conforming product is detected after delivery or use has started. When non-conforming product is corrected, sorry, it shall be subjected to re-verification to demonstrate conformity to the requirements. Records of the nature of non-conformity and any subsequent actions taken, including concessions obtained, shall be maintained. Analysis of data. So the organization shall determine, collect and analyze the appropriate data to demonstrate the suitability and effectiveness of the quality management system, and to evaluate where continual improvement of the effectiveness of the quality management system can be made. The analysis of data shall provide information relating to customer satisfaction, conformity of the product requirements, characteristics, and trends of processes and uh, products, including opportunities for preventive action as well as suppliers. Improvement. The organization shall continually improve and effective for the QMS through the use of the quality policy, quality objective, audit results, analysis of data, corrective and preventive actions, and management review. Corrective action. The organization shall take appropriate action to eliminate the causes of non-conformities in order to prevent reoccurrence. A documented procedure shall be established to define the requirements for reviewing non-conformities, determining the causes of conformities, evaluating the need for action to ensure that conformities do not reoccur, determining and implementing action needed, records of the results of action taken, reviewing the effectiveness of the corrective action taken. Improvement. Continue preventive action. The organization shall determine action of eliminating the causes of potential non-conformities in order to prevent their occurrence. Preventive actions shall be appropriate to the effects of the potential problems. A documented procedure shall be established to define requirements for determining potential non-conformities and their causes. Evaluating the action for action of prevent occurrence of non-conformities, determining the implementing action needed, the records of results of action taken, reviewing the effectiveness of the preventive action taken. The role of statistical techniques. So as per ISO 9000 2005, the 2005, the use of statistical technique can help in understanding variability and thereby can help organizations to solve problems and improve effectiveness and efficiency. These techniques also facilitates better use of available data to assist in decision making. Statistical technique can help to measure the describe, analyze, interpret, and model such variability even with a relative limited amount of data. Statistical analysis of such data can help to provide a better understanding of the nature, extent, and causes of variability, thus helping to solve and even prevent problems that may result from such variability and to improve the continual improvement. Guidance on statistical technique in a quality management system is given in ISO/TR 10017. Now we have already discussed about some objective questions. I'm just revising it that general requirement of QMS is not included. No need to determine the process for the quality management system. This is the correct answer. Other answers which are not correct are determine the sequence and interaction, ensure the availability of resources, implement actions necessary to achieve the planned results. General requirements on auditing is provided by ISO 2008 is the correct answer. Other options are 2005, 11, and 2001. Documents requirement for of the quality management system include documented statements of the quality policy and quality objectives. First party audits are conducted by or on the behalf of organization itself. Documented procedures and records required by this international standards are all mentioned. So the documents requirement of quality management system include all mentioned. Quality manual includes the scope of quality management system, the documented procedure established for the quality management system, a description of interaction between the processes of the quality management system, and all mentioned. So all mentioned is the correct answer. ISO 9000 and 2008 quality management system not include the control of document requirement, journal requirement, or effectiveness control record. So answer D is correct. That is, it is not effectiveness record is not included in the ISO 9000 and 2008 quality management system. So these are the references. So if you want to know in detail related to the quality management system, so you can check out these references. You can also click on these references and you can directly reach us to the site. And also you can visit, you can go in the Google and you just type the ISO 9000 and the series name, or you can also type the the ISO 9000 series, ISO 9000 2005. If you will type, you will get to know about all these things which are related to the ISO. Similarly, in ISO 9000 and 2008 also you can you will be able to know about all these things related to ISO 9000 and 2008. Similarly, if you type ISO 9004, you can get this type of information. Also, if you want the detailed information related to current scenario related to the ISO and quality management system, so you can visit the recent journals in which all the articles related to this are given, and you can read it out so that you will came to know about the recent advancements or recent things which are related to the quality management system easily. Okay, so yeah, we have covered related to quality management system aspects. We have also discussed in today's class related to the monitoring and measurement of process, monitoring and measurement of product, non-conformity product, dealing with non-conformity product, that is how we can deal with non-conformity products, analysis of data, how we can analyze the data related to the analysis, improvement program, like how we can take the corrective actions and all. Preventive actions in improvement, the corrective as well as preventive, two types of action we can take. So already mentioned the role of statistical technique, how the statistical technique work and how we can work on them. And we have already discussed about some objective questions which are related to it, and references also. So you can watch these references for the details. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching.